Fresh from New Hampshire, where she knows that they love hunting and guns and limited government and low taxes, the governor of the great state of Alaska, Governor Sarah Palin. Governor, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much. It's good to speak with you again, Lars.
Well, listen, do I have to ask you who won the debate last night?
You know what I'm going to say. John McCain did great. It was very refreshing and very energizing to get to hear him speak right to the people and vowing to fight for everyday middle-class working Americans. It was, I think, a great debate and will really help us.
I want to talk to you about some of the issues that have come up and some of the ones that you brought to the fore. But first, I want to ask you, is your family still glad you agreed to take on this job?
They are. They're knowing that this is a cause greater than self, that's for sure. So, no, everybody's in this together, and we're going full speed ahead. They're happy about this.
Now, what about the attacks on your family, on your husband, on your daughter, on your whole family? What does that do to your heart?
Oh, yeah, that part of it. That's been absolutely ridiculously atrocious and unacceptable. But as my family and I have agreed from day one, too, if we're not tough enough to take these political and I think unfair shots, then we shouldn't have agreed to take on this challenge and offered ourselves up. And truly, it is a team effort, a family effort, offer ourselves up in the name of service to America. So the shots, they've been ridiculous, but we can take it. And other people across America are taking tougher shots than we are today. Those who are worried about losing their homes or their businesses and maybe worried about losing a loved one in war, those are the shots that really matter.
Governor, a lot of us were glad when you brought up the William Ayers issue and his connection to Barack Obama. Obama spoke to that last night. Do you think he adequately answered that question?
Not even close. No, and it's not mean-spirited and it's not negative to talk about someone's records or associations, and that is fair to the electorate, is to call someone out on their records and their association. So, no, I think there is a lot more to it. It goes to the heart of a person's judgment and a person's truthfulness also, and just laying it out there on the line. Hey, did you or did you not launch your political campaign in a domestic terrorist living room? Well, you did. Just be truthful about it with the American public, and then let us judge from there.
In fact, Senator Obama defended William Ayers, saying he's an English professor, not speaking to the fact that he'd tried to blow up the Capitol and the Pentagon.
And not only those atrocious acts, but, look at some of his quote-unquote education reform measures that he has undertaken and some of the extreme positions that he takes on where he was to see society and public education go. It's quite concerning and quite fair to talk about.
Governor, what scares you the most about the idea of Barack Obama as president?
Well, there are many differences, of course, in the two tickets. And what scares me is the direction that we would head with our economy, with the idea that Barack Obama can embrace an idea of raising taxes at a time like this and redistributing wealth at a time like this. And John McCain, of course, and I being proponents and having track records proving, too, having reduced taxes and growing jobs, growing the economy, and reining in government expansion and protecting our Constitution, protecting all of our rights in our Constitution, including our Second Amendment rights. And that's all as opposed to those things that Senator Obama has represented all these years. And you do have to look back at somebody's track record and see where their foundation, where that was built, and that shows you where they intend to lead. So going back on Barack Obama's record of raising taxes, 94 times he's voted to increase taxes, even on middle-class, hardworking Americans making $42,000 a year. That's the average folks out there. And then, of course, as an Illinois senator, supporting a ban on handguns and ammunition and trying to take away that Second Amendment right. Just somebody's track record like that, knowing that that is what their foundation is, should be concerning.
Governor, guns is one of my favorite issues. My Second Amendment, the favorite of all the amendments, because I think the founders put it there to protect the rest of them. But do you think Barack Obama has ever held a gun in his hands, and do you think he cares whether Americans have a right to own guns?
I don't know if he has or not. What I have done and what I have supported, and John McCain also, and as a lifetime member of the NRA and having an A rating from the NRA as opposed to Barack Obama's F rating from the NRA, that says a lot right there.
Governor, I know you've heard Senator Obama tell Joe Wurzelbacher, the plumber, about spreading around the wealth. Joe Wurzelbacher's wealth and the wealth of other Americans. Doesn't that kind of approach to taxes and to government make Senator Obama a socialist?
Well, remember their ticket also. It said Joe Biden had said that higher taxes, that's patriotic. That's not patriotic in the world that I come from. Patriotic is working hard and being rewarded for your strong work ethic and producing and contributing and helping community and helping families, but not looking to government to be the be-all, end-all. In fact, in my world, I see, and the people that I have grown up with and I'm serving today, we see government more as the problem, not the solution. So bigger government, expanded taxes, redistribution of wealth is not the answer. That's the problem.
Governor, tell me this. Speaking of spreading the wealth, should a multimillionaire like Senator Obama be doing more for his half-brother living in Kenya?
Well, everyone has their own level of personal responsibility that they want to take on, and that's a good question, Lars. That should be posed to Senator Obama.
Fair enough. But you talked about personal responsibility in your debate, but I have to ask you about the Palin-McCain ticket, which is the way I prefer to think of it. Shouldn't those who took on the mortgages they couldn't afford be paying for their own mortgages instead of having their fellow taxpayers bailing them out?
Well, we have to stabilize the housing market right now, though. It doesn't do anybody any good if your neighbor is defaulting and will have to foreclose on a loan because that's going to lower your house price, also the value of your house. So that doesn't do anybody good. We have to stabilize. But if you notice, Lars, I did talk about in my debate with Biden about personal responsibility. And yes, predatory lenders took advantage of too many hard-working Americans and talked them into purchasing something that they couldn't afford. But we don't talk much about this, and we should, about this going both ways, the personal responsibility. And why is it that we think that we need to own a $300,000 house and get talked into that if really we can only afford a $100,000 house? And why is it that we get enticed and get sucked into this idea of having a second or third or fourth credit card every month and get ourselves into debt and then think that somebody else is going to bail us out? No, we've got to be more responsible, and we cannot let the system beat us in terms of getting enticed and entrapped in this corporate greed and this corruption, I think, that is on Wall Street that makes too many of us feel like, hey, if we can't keep up with the Joneses and if we're not spending more than we can afford, then we're not with the rest of society. No, let us be responsible and let them never win again. Those who would want to corrupt and those who are greedy, let them not take advantage of us ever again. Let us have learned great lessons over these past few months with that toxic mess that we see now on Wall Street.
Governor Palin, I know there's a lot of anger directed at Wall Street, but should the government be hunting down those who were corrupt within the system and cheated the system, whether it was an individual borrower who lied about his income or somebody who made the loan and knew it was fake, or the people who lied on Wall Street? Should the government be about hunting those people down and prosecuting them?
If we don't take action against those who have taken advantage of others, if we don't take action against those who have been greedy and corrupt, and that was made manifest by the problems that we see right now, then we're just all talk and we're no action. So how can Americans ever believe that their federal government is ever going to be on their side unless we do take action? So absolutely, we need to track them down and they need to be held accountable.
Governor, you know that an awful lot of America thinks you're awfully attractive, and they want to know what's up with the winking.
Well, I don't know. I've winked a couple of times when I've seen somebody in the audience or somebody's caught my eye and maybe they're waving or they're doing, making just a nice gesture and saying, go get them, tell them the way it is. And I wink and say, yeah, I agree with you, man.